After the Galactic Council formally declares humanity extinct, alien fleets converge to claim the final victory. But hidden deep in the void, humanity's secret war fleet awakens, silent, deadly, and beyond anything the galaxy has ever seen. The balance of power shatters, and a forgotten strength rises with ruthless precision. Humanity has been eradicated. Their extinction is confirmed. The cold, unyielding voice echoed through the Galactic Council's colossal chamber, a vast, shimmering hall suspended in orbit around a dying star. The proclamation hung in the air like a guillotine's blade, a final verdict pronounced with arrogant certainty. Councillor Ralek of the Seraphim Order gazed down at the holoscreen projecting the distant ruins of Earth's last outposts, silent, lifeless. Around him, the assembled alien dignitaries murmured with satisfaction and disdain. Humanity was finished, nothing more than a footnote in galactic history. Yet, beneath that certainty, a faint ripple stirred in the shadows, unseen by even the most vigilant eyes, orbiting the outer edge of the Sol system, far beyond the eyes of the Council's fleets. Humanity's warships waited in silence. Cloaked in stealth fields and draped in layers of deception, these vessels formed a ghost armada that had slumbered beneath the radar for decades. Commander Jaya Malik stood on the bridge of the flagship Indomitable, the cold blue glow of control panels painting her features with a spectral light. Around her, the crew moved with practiced precision, their silence heavy with anticipation. Outside, stars shimmered cold and distant. The void was vast and unforgiving, but here, in this hidden bastion, humanity's final stand was taking shape. "They declared us extinct," Jaya said softly, voice cutting through the quiet like a sharpened blade. "They believed our fire was dead." Her fingers hovered over the launch controls, each moment ticking closer to the inevitable. The Council had grown arrogant, blinded by their conquests and political theater. They had dismissed Earth as a primitive backwater, its people weak and fractured, its technology obsolete. But they never saw the fortress built beneath the ashes. They never saw the armada forged in silence, shaped by the pain of survival and the hunger for vengeance. Jaya's eyes narrowed as she issued the command. "Power to engines. Prepare to engage Cloak." The warships around her began to pulse with hidden energy, systems coming online one by one. Silent no longer. A slow, deliberate countdown appeared on the main screen. An unfinished message left to linger like a ghost. A warning etched in time. 3, 2, 1. The Indomitable and its sister ships surged forward, slipping through the shadows, cloaked in darkness. A voice crackled over comms, low and calm, yet carrying the weight of destiny. "They thought we were dead. They thought they could erase us." Jaya's lips curled into a grim smile. "They're not ready for what we buried." And with that, humanity's war fleet emerged from the void. The Galactic Council's greatest miscalculation had begun to unravel. Stars flickered. Systems went dark. The balance of power shattered as humanity's secret war fleet begins its silent invasion. The alien coalition scrambles to comprehend the unexpected threat. Hidden bases awaken, fleets uncloak, and every corner of human-controlled space bursts into coordinated chaos. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council's smug certainty fractures under the weight of an enemy they thought extinguished. The blackness of space beyond the outer Sol system was punctuated only by distant stars and the faint glow of nebulae. But amidst this tranquil void, a storm brewed. A storm forged in silence and patience, deep in a concealed asteroid cavern, far from the prying senses of the Galactic Council. The heart of humanity's war effort pulsed to life. Admiral Jaya Malik stood at the command platform of the hidden shipyard Forge Heart, her gaze fixed on the sprawling holographic map of the sector. The layout revealed every enemy installation, fleet position, and vulnerable supply route across multiple star systems. Around her, officers and technicians moved swiftly, their faces illuminated by the cold light of data streams. This was no ordinary war council. It was the epicenter of humanity's resurgence, where decades of planning and sacrifice converged into one purpose: reclaiming their place among the stars. "Status report," Jaya commanded, her voice steady, yet charged with the gravity of what was unfolding. Lieutenant Commander Raul Vega responded crisply, "All fleets are unmasked and in position. Stealth shields are holding. Sensor nets have been successfully scrambled in sectors 5 through 9. Enemy communications are sporadic and confused." Jaya nodded, the faintest hint of a smile breaking her otherwise austere demeanor. "Good. Initiate Phase 2. Strike their logistics and command infrastructure with surgical precision. We cannot allow them time to regroup." The room fell into a hum of coordinated activity as warships powered up, their engines lighting with a quiet but deadly promise. Across the void, alien warships surged from their fortified orbits, alarms blaring in confusion and fear. The Galactic Council's forces were caught off guard, their smug certainty shattered by the sudden emergence of humanity's hidden fleets. General Vorka, the reptilian commander of the Coalition's northern fleets, growled in frustration as he surveyed the chaotic holographic feed. "They were extinct," he spat. "How did they survive? How did they hide?" His subordinates scrambled to re-establish communications, but the enemy's electronic warfare was ruthless, jamming signals, injecting false data, and severing coordination. "Enemy stealth fighters detected behind our lines," a lieutenant shouted. "They're hitting supply depots and command outposts simultaneously." Vorka slammed his clawed fist onto the console, rage blazing in his eyes. "Focus all firepower, hunt them down and erase every trace." Back at the moon's orbital outpost Aegis, Commander Sophia Reyes coordinated defensive operations with fierce precision. Though battered from the initial declaration of extinction, the station had survived and now stood as the spearhead of humanity's resurgence. "Deploy counter-stealth patrols and activate quantum jammers," Sophia ordered. "We need to regain control of the local space lanes." Her tactical officers confirmed the launch of drone swarms and sensor nets, weaving a web of detection to catch the elusive enemy fighters. Sophia's mind raced with a mixture of hope and apprehension. The stakes were monumental. Failure here would mean the collapse of humanity's final foothold, but victory could turn the tide of the entire war. Meanwhile, within Earth's core command, Admiral Marcus Kane reviewed intelligence reports flowing in from every corner of human space. The vast quantum communication network buzzed with encrypted chatter, ship positions, battle updates, sabotage confirmations. Kane's eyes flicked over the data with an eagle's focus. "They believed us extinct. They underestimated the depth of our resolve and the breadth of our hidden strength." Turning to his second-in-command, Kane said firmly, "Prepare the Indomitable and fleet for a full-scale assault on the Coalition's central command node in the JAR system. This will be our decisive blow." As the secret war fleets maneuvered into position, deep space echoed with a crescendo of silent engines and tense anticipation. Every pilot, every crew member carried the weight of a species' survival on their shoulders. In the cockpit of a stealth fighter, Lieutenant Amir Khan adjusted his visor, heart pounding but hands steady. Ahead, enemy sensors flickered, blind to his approach. "Target locked on Coalition supply depot," Khan whispered. "Ready to strike." His squadron moved as one, releasing a barrage of plasma torpedoes and electromagnetic pulses that shattered shields and ignited infernos of destruction. The Galactic Council, now rattled and fractured, convened emergency sessions in their orbiting palace. Political machinations and accusations flew as leaders sought scapegoats for their failures. Ambassador Shearer, once a staunch supporter of war, now pleaded for a strategic withdrawal, recognizing the rising power of humanity. "We underestimated them," she admitted quietly. "Their extinction was a lie, and now we face a force reborn." Far from the political chaos, humanity's commanders prepared for the battles ahead, knowing the war was entering a brutal new phase. The galaxy was watching, but more importantly, humanity was ready. The time for silence had passed. The time for war had come. Humanity's secret fleets strike with calculated ferocity, severing enemy supply chains and crippling communication networks. The alien coalition scrambles to respond to this unprecedented threat, while internal political fractures within the Galactic Council threaten their already tenuous unity. On Earth's moon, commanders brace for a relentless counterattack that will test their resolve and ingenuity. The void. Surrounding the moon was a cold, unforgiving expanse, vast, silent, and deadly. But in that silence, the heartbeat of humanity's war effort pulsed with fierce determination. Commander Sophia Reyes stood on the bridge of the orbital station Aegis, the cold blue glow of tactical displays reflecting in her eyes. Her gaze was sharp, calculating every movement in the sprawling battlefield before her. "All strike teams are in position," her communications officer reported, voice steady. "Stealth squadrons are breaching enemy supply corridors, pulse drones disrupting sensor arrays across 4 sectors. Sophia nodded, the faintest crease of a smile touching her lips. "Good. We hit them where it hurts, cut their lifelines, and watch the whole network crumble." Outside the station, sleek fighters slipped through shadows, emerging silently to unleash targeted strikes on fuel depots, ammo caches, and communication nodes scattered across the enemy's outer systems. Captain Lian Zhao led her squadron through the treacherous labyrinth of the asteroid belt near Beta Prime, every moment a test of skill and nerve. The weight of every life aboard her ship, every victory and loss, pressed heavily on her shoulders. "Enemy escorts detected," Zhao warned over comms. "Prepare for close combat." The squadron twisted and turned through narrow corridors of rock and debris, dodging plasma bursts and missile salvos. Fighters crashed and others soared in furious dogfights, each pilot a master of survival and deadly precision. Zhao's own cockpit shuddered as a missile grazed her shield, systems flickering. "Focus fire on the lead frigate, break their command." Her voice was calm, but her heart raced. The line between life and death was thin and razor-sharp. Back on Earth, Commander Hannah Yates worked tirelessly to secure the sprawling communication network that linked humanity's scattered fleets. Threats from spies and traitors lurked beneath every signal. "We've intercepted multiple attempts to breach our encryption," Hannah said grimly. "Countermeasures are in place, but vigilance is paramount." Her team monitored waves of data, hunting anomalies and tightening security protocols in a desperate game of cat and mouse. The war had expanded beyond weapons. It was now a fight for trust and survival within their own ranks. Within the fracturing Galactic Council, political tensions reached a fever pitch. Ambassador Shearer pushed for peace negotiations, aware that continued conflict risked total collapse. But warhawks like General Vorka refused to relent. "Humanity must be crushed or broken," he growled. "No mercy." Secret alliances and betrayals twisted the Council's politics into a dark web of paranoia and fear. At the Helios frontier, Elena Miles prepared for the enemy's next onslaught. Reports indicated growing fleet concentrations, desperation driving the coalition to throw everything at the line. "Quantum disruptors at full power," her tactical officer announced. "Enemy shields weakening across multiple sectors." Elena's voice was steel. "Hold the line, fight for Earth." The battle exploded into a furious storm of light and fire, ships twisting in deadly ballet, plasma bolts illuminating the eye. Void like lightning in a cosmic tempest. Amid the chaos, human pilots maneuvered with lethal grace, each knowing the fate of billions hung in the balance. In rare moments of quiet, commanders and crews found time to reflect on the cost. The names of the fallen were whispered in hushed tones, ghosts who fueled the fire of resolve. Sophia stood before the viewport, gazing into the star-strewn void. "We fight, not just to survive," she murmured, "but to reclaim our future." The stars blinked back, silent witnesses to humanity's relentless awakening. The galaxy was changing. Humanity was waking. The war intensifies as humanity executes coordinated assaults on key enemy strongholds. The alien coalition reels from relentless strikes, while internal dissent threatens their cohesion. On Earth's moon, defenders face brutal offensives but hold steadfast, forging alliances that could turn the tide. The unfolding conflict reveals the true cost of survival and the depths of humanity's resolve. The vastness of space beyond the moon was a tapestry of light and shadow, a battlefield where fleets danced a deadly waltz. Jagged remnants of destroyed vessels floated like silent specters, while laser fire and plasma arcs streaked across the darkness. Commander Sophia Reyes stood at the observation deck of Aegis, her posture rigid but eyes sharp as ever. The holographic tactical maps shimmered before her, each flickering point a sign of war's cruel advance or retreat. Our pulse drone waves have successfully disrupted enemy sensor grids in over 80% of targeted sectors, her tactical officer reported, voice taut with urgency. The coalition's fleet coordination is severely compromised. Sophia's gaze hardened. Excellent. Prepare the next phase. Deploy stealth strike teams to sever their supply lines and command networks. Her officers nodded, their fingers dancing over consoles, initiating waves of silent drones that slipped through space, invisible and deadly. In the asteroid belt near the Beta Expanse, Captain Lian Zhao's squadron faced an escalating nightmare. The hazardous maze of space debris and radiation storms was now a deadly gauntlet lined with enemy traps. "Enemy reinforcements inbound," Zhao warned, her voice steady but edged with tension. "Heavy cruisers and interceptor squadrons." Her pilots responded with practiced precision, weaving through missile salvos and plasma fire. The dark void erupted with fiery explosions as fighters clashed in fierce dogfights. Zhao's own fighter bucked violently from a near miss, systems flickering dangerously. "Hold formation! Target the flagship's escort vessels!" Every shot was a gamble, every maneuver a matter of life and death. Back on Earth, Commander Hannah Yates faced mounting internal pressures. Sabotage and espionage threatened to unravel humanity's war effort from within. Several high-ranking officers have been detained on suspicion of leaking information, Hannah announced to her staff. "Security protocols are being reinforced. Trust is our strongest weapon." Her team worked relentlessly, hunting for shadows within shadows, their eyes scanning streams of encrypted data for anomalies. Within the fracturing Galactic Council, the struggle for power became a tempest of whispered accusations and bitter rivalries. Ambassador Shira, once a fervent supporter of war, now pushed for reconciliation. "The war tears us apart," she warned. "If we do not seek peace, all will be lost." But General Vorka's faction rejected compromise. "Humanity must be crushed or we perish," he declared, his voice cold and merciless. Schemes of betrayal and secret alliances churned beneath the Council's gilded halls, deepening the chaos. At the Helios frontier, Commander Eleanor Miles prepared her forces for the enemy's fiercest assault yet. The coalition's desperation was palpable, their fleets massive and ruthless. "Quantum disruptors are fully operational," her tactical officer reported. Enemy shields are faltering across multiple sectors. Elena's voice was resolute, her presence a beacon amidst the storm. Hold the line for Earth, for humanity. The ensuing battle was a maelstrom of light and fury. Ships twisted in intricate deadly maneuvers, plasma cascaded through space, and the roar of explosions echoed against the silent stars. Amid the chaos, human pilots flew with fierce determination, knowing that the fate of billions rested on their shoulders. In the quiet aftermath of battle, commanders and crews alike found moments to grieve and reflect. Names of the lost were spoken softly, their sacrifices etched in memory. Sophia gazed. Out at the infinite blackness, voice barely a whisper. We fight not just to survive, but to claim our future. The stars bore silent witness to humanity's awakening. A force relentless and unyielding. The war was far from over, but humanity's fire blazed ever brighter. Humanity's relentless campaign fractures the alien coalition's defenses, but mounting losses and internal betrayals threaten to unravel the fragile alliance as battles rage across contested sectors. Commanders face impossible choices, and the true cost of war becomes heartbreakingly clear. Yet, through sacrifice and unyielding spirit, humanity's resolve shines brighter than ever. The void surrounding Earth's moon was alive with the crackling energy of war, silent but seething beneath the surface. The Aegis orbital station stood battered but resolute, a beacon of hope and defiance. Commander Sophia Reyes paced the observation deck, the soft hum of active consoles her only companion. Tactical readouts glowed with the positions of fleets engaged. In fierce combat across multiple star systems, enemy forces regrouping near the Helios outpost, the tactical officer reported, urgency lacing his tone. Reinforcements include heavy dreadnoughts and wave after wave of escort fighters. Sophia's eyes narrowed, steeling herself. Deploy the next wave of pulse drones and quantum disruptors. Their sensors must remain blind, their shields vulnerable. Her team surged into action, launching swarms of autonomous drones that darted like deadly wasps, releasing cascades of disruptive energy that fractured enemy coordination. In the chaotic asteroid belt near the Beta Expanse, Captain Lian Zhao's squadron navigated a labyrinth of deadly debris and fierce opposition. Each pilot was a master of evasion and precision, their skills honed in countless skirmishes. Enemy counterattack imminent, Zhao warned. Heavy cruisers and missile pods bearing down. Her fighters twisted and darted, weaving between plasma bursts and salvo after salvo of missile fire. Explosions lit the void, each burst a dangerous beacon in the darkness. Zhao's own fighter was struck, systems flickering wildly. Pain flared through her limbs, but her grip remained steady. No retreat, she commanded through gritted teeth. Every shot must count. Back on Earth, Commander Hannah Yates grappled with the insidious threat of sabotage and espionage. The web of deceit stretched deeper than ever, threatening to unravel their war effort from within. Multiple security breaches detected, Hannah informed her officers. Our counterintelligence teams are mobilizing to root out infiltrators. Trust is our greatest asset and our greatest vulnerability. She studied encrypted transmissions, searching for clues hidden beneath layers of digital noise. The stakes had never been higher. Within the crumbling halls of the Galactic Council, political machinations spiraled into open conflict. Ambassador Shearer urged peace, but faced fierce opposition from General Vorka and his loyalists, who demanded total war. Humanity must be crushed before it can rise, Vorka hissed, eyes blazing with fanaticism. Shadows shifted in secret. Corridors as spies moved unseen, poisoning alliances and spreading fear. The Council's unity was a fragile facade, cracking under the pressure of impending defeat. At the Helios frontier, Commander Elena Miles prepared her forces for the oncoming storm. Reports confirmed massive enemy fleet concentrations, desperation, fueling their aggressive advance. "Quantum disruptors are ready," her tactical officer reported. "We're hitting their shields hard. They're faltering." Elena's voice was calm, a steady anchor in the chaos. "Hold the line. We fight for every world under Earth's light." The battle erupted in a furious storm of plasma and energy. Ships collided, systems failed, and heroes emerged from the fire. The void was a crucible forging unbreakable bonds. In quieter moments, commanders and crews mourned their losses and found strength in shared sacrifice. Names of the fallen echoed softly through war rooms and corridors. Sophia looked toward the distant stars, voice barely a whisper. "This war is our reckoning, but it is also our hope." The stars, eternal and indifferent, watched as humanity's fire blazed ever brighter, lighting the darkness with the promise of survival. The brutal conflict stretches humanity's forces to their limits as they push deeper into enemy territory. New weapons and strategies shift the tide, but devastating sacrifices and unexpected betrayals complicate the battlefield. Political turmoil within the Galactic Council accelerates its collapse. Commanders confront the harsh realities of war, forging humanity's indomitable will into a beacon of hope. The inky blackness of space was alive with the roar of engines, the crackle of energy weapons, and the thrum of warships moving in lethal precision. Around Earth's moon, the battered but unyielding Aegis station pulsed like a heartbeat of resistance amidst the chaos. Commander Sophia Reyes stood before the panoramic viewport, eyes tracing the intricate ballet of fleets maneuvering through the void. Every movement was a calculated risk, every strike a gamble with fate. "Enemy capital ships have regrouped near the Helios sector," her tactical officer announced, urgency coloring his voice. "They're preparing a massive counteroffensive." Sophia's jaw clenched, determination hardening her features. "Deploy the quantum disruptors and pulse drone swarms immediately. We must cripple their ability to coordinate before they strike." Her order unleashed a wave of electronic warfare. The pulse drones slipped through the darkness like lethal specters, emitting electromagnetic pulses that fractured enemy sensor grids, plunging entire sectors into chaos. Far beyond the moon, Captain Lian Zhao's squadron carved a path through the deadly maze of the Beta Expanse. The swirling fields of debris and radiation storms made every maneuver a test of skill and nerve. "Incoming enemy reinforcements," Zhao reported over comms, voice tight with tension. "Heavy frigates and missile batteries are converging on our position." Her squadron twisted and weaved through hailstorms of plasma and kinetic fire, launching counterattacks with surgical precision. Explosions flared in the void, illuminating the cold expanse with deadly bursts of light. Zhao's fighter jolted violently under missile fire. Alarms blared, systems flickering dangerously. "Maintain formation, focus fire on the flagship's escorts," she ordered through gritted teeth. Every shot was a desperate attempt to hold the line, every evasion a dance with death. Back on Earth, Commander Hannah Yates faced the creeping threat of espionage that gnawed at the edges of humanity's war effort. Infiltrators embedded deep within their ranks whispered lies and leaked secrets. "We've apprehended several suspected spies," Hannah reported grimly during a tense security briefing. "Our counterintelligence units are doubling down. We cannot allow trust to erode." Her fingers flew over hollow displays, analyzing data streams for anomalies and encrypted messages. The war was no longer just fought with weapons. It was a battle for trust and survival within their own ranks. Within the fracturing Galactic Council, political chaos deepened. Ambassador Shira pleaded for diplomacy, warning that continued conflict threatened total annihilation. But General Vorka, a fierce warhawk, snarled defiance. "There can be no peace with those who defy us. Humanity must be crushed utterly." Behind the scenes, shadows stirred. Secret alliances, betrayals, and assassinations wove a dark web that threatened to unravel the coalition from within. At the Helios frontier, Commander Eleanor Miles prepared for the enemy's most devastating assault yet. Fleet sensors blinked red with incoming enemy formations, waves of ships desperate to reclaim lost ground. Quantum disruptors ready, her tactical officer confirmed. Enemy shields are faltering. Elena's voice was steel. Hold the line, for Earth, for humanity. The ensuing battle was a furious storm of light and destruction. Ships collided, weapons flared, and heroes were forged in the crucible of fire and loss. Amid the chaos, human pilots danced a deadly ballet, risking everything for the future of their species. In fleeting moments of calm, commanders and crews honored the sacrifices made. Names were whispered softly, memories etched into the fabric of their resolve. Sophia gazed into the abyss of stars, voice low and steady. We fight not just to survive, but to reclaim our place in the cosmos. The stars watched silently as humanity's fire blazed brighter, unyielding and eternal. Humanity's relentless advance fractures the alien coalition's defenses and fractures their unity. Betrayals and shifting alliances complicate the battlefield while human commanders face devastating losses and impossible decisions. The war's stakes escalate as both sides brace for the decisive moments ahead. The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly, pierced only by distant stars and the cold light of burning warships. Captain Lian Zhao's squadron moved like a ghost through the debris-strewn corridor of the Beta Expanse, each fighter a sharp instrument honed for destruction. Enemy reinforcements incoming from the Zha system, Zhao reported, her voice steady but laced with urgency. Heavy cruisers, missile pods, and escort fighters converging rapidly. Her squadron tightened formation, pilots focused with unyielding discipline. Laser fire tore through the void, plasma bolts igniting deadly trails, the hum of engines and electronic warfare filling the cockpits. Zhao's fighter rocked under heavy fire. Systems flickered dangerously, alarms shrieking. Hold formation. We break their line here or we lose everything. Back on Earth, Commander Hannah Yates confronted a new wave of sabotage and espionage. The shadows within humanity's ranks grew darker and more tangled. We've apprehended multiple suspected agents, Hannah briefed grimly. Counterintelligence is redoubling efforts. We must protect our secrets at all costs. Her team combed through encrypted transmissions and suspicious data, fighting an invisible war that threatened to undo their gains. Within the fractured Galactic Council, politics spiraled into open conflict. Ambassador Shira's calls for diplomacy clashed with General Vorka's relentless warhawks. Humanity must be crushed before it can rise, Vorka snarled, eyes burning with fanaticism. Dark plots and betrayals twisted through the council, undermining any hope of unified resistance. At the Helios frontier, Commander Eleanor Miles faced overwhelming enemy forces. Their desperation forged a weaponized fury that battered human defenses relentlessly. Shields at critical levels, her tactical officer reported. Reinforcements delayed due to heavy enemy activity. Elena's voice was steady. Hold the line. We fight for Earth. The void erupted with the fury of battle. Ships collided, weapons flared, and heroes were forged in fire. In rare moments of silence, commanders wrestled with loss and duty. Names of the fallen were whispered in quiet remembrance. Elena stood beneath the stars, voice barely a whisper. For every soul lost, we rise stronger. We carry their legacy forward. The galaxy watched, tense and silent. Humanity's war was far from over, but its spirit blazed eternal. The war reaches a brutal crescendo as humanity unleashes new devastating tactics that cripple the alien coalition's fleets. Desperation fuels savage counterattacks, but internal betrayals and political upheaval fracture the enemy's fragile alliance. Commanders face staggering losses and impossible choices, but humanity's indomitable spirit shines brighter. fueling a relentless drive toward victory. The darkness of space was torn apart by the brilliant streaks of plasma bolts and the echoing thunder of kinetic cannons. Around Earth's moon, the battered but defiant Aegis orbital station stood as humanity's last bastion, a beacon of hope in the war-ravaged void. Commander Sophia Reyes stood silently in the observation chamber, eyes fixed on the holographic star map glowing before her. The scale of the battle was staggering. Fleets clashed in deadly dance, each strike a gamble with fate. Enemy dreadnoughts approaching, the tactical officer reported urgently. Estimated fleet strength, 5 capital ships with heavy escorts. Sophia's jaw tightened, her resolve hardening. Activate full quantum disruptor array. Launch pulse drone swarms in coordinated waves. We must break their lines before they consolidate. The command deck erupted into calculated chaos as officers executed orders. Pulse drones slipped through space like silent phantoms, weaving electromagnetic webs that shredded enemy sensors and crippled communications. In the hazardous asteroid fields of the Beta Expanse, Captain Lian Zhao's squadron fought a desperate battle for survival. The swirling debris was a deadly maze, where every maneuver could mean destruction or salvation. Enemy reinforcements inbound from the Vega system, Zhao warned, voice taut with urgency. They're deploying assault. Frigates and missile pods. Her squadron twisted and dodged amid blazing laser fire and missile salvos. Explosions bloomed around them like deadly fireworks, each blast a stark reminder of war's relentless cost. Zhao's fighter shuddered violently under heavy plasma fire, alarms screaming. Hold formation! Focus fire on the enemy command ship! Break their control! The void echoed with the fury of battle, a crucible forging unbreakable bonds among those who fought for Earth's future. On Earth, Commander Hannah Yates faced the crushing reality of espionage within their own ranks. The web of betrayal stretched deep, threatening to unravel humanity's fragile unity. We've apprehended high-level traitors, Hannah briefed grimly. Counterintelligence operations are intensifying. Trust is our most precious weapon and our greatest vulnerability. Her team worked relentlessly, scanning data streams and encrypted channels, fighting an invisible war that could undo everything. Within the Galactic Council's decaying halls, political turmoil reached a fever pitch. Ambassador Shearer pleaded for peace, but warhawks led by General Vorka rejected compromise. The human threat must be crushed utterly, Vorka declared, eyes burning with fanatic zeal. Secret assassinations and treacheries twisted through the Council, fracturing alliances and weakening their response to humanity's advance. At the Helios frontier, Commander Elena Miles braced for the enemy's final desperate assault. Reports confirmed overwhelming fleet concentrations, a tidal wave of fury aimed at crushing humanity's last hold. Quantum disruptors at full capacity, her tactical officer reported. Enemy shields are faltering. Elena's voice was calm but fierce. Hold the line. We fight not just for survival, but for every world that calls Earth home. The battle erupted in a tempest of light and fire. Ships collided, weapons flared, and heroes were forged in the crucible of war. Amid the chaos, human pilots maneuvered with deadly grace, every strike a testament to their unyielding spirit. In fleeting moments of quiet, commanders and crews honored their fallen comrades. Names were spoken softly, memories etched into the very soul of their struggle. Sophia gazed out at the endless stars, whispering a vow carried by the silent cosmos. We fight to reclaim our future. The stars watched silently, bearing witness to humanity's blazing fire, a flame that would never be extinguished. Humanity's relentless advance fractures the alien coalition's defenses, but the war's brutal toll intensifies. Betrayals and shifting loyalties shake both sides as commanders face devastating losses and impossible choices. The conflict's stakes escalate toward an epic climax that will redefine the galaxy's future. The dark void of space beyond Earth's moon was a theater of devastation and hope. A vast expanse where starships clashed in a furious dance of light and shadow. Captain Lian Zhao's squadron maneuvered with deadly precision through the swirling debris of the Beta expanse. The debris field, a haunting reminder of wars past and the cost of those yet to come. Enemy reinforcements detected. Approaching from the Jar system, Zhao's voice crackled over the comms, tight with urgency. Heavy cruisers, missile batteries, and interceptor wings converging. Her squadron tightened formation, every pilot a master of survival and destruction. Plasma bolts tore through the darkness, the hum of engines and electronic warfare filling every cockpit with a sharp edge of tension. Zhao's fighter jolted violently as a missile slammed into her shields, alarms wailing. Hold formation. Focus fire on the flagship's escort vessels. We break their command or we lose everything. Back on Earth, Commander Hannah Yates confronted the insidious threat of espionage with relentless focus. The shadow war within humanity's ranks gnawed at the fragile unity that had held through years of conflict. We've detained several high-ranking suspects. Hannah briefed the command staff grimly. Our counterintelligence units are intensifying operations. Our survival depends on rooting out these traitors. Her team pored over encrypted data streams and suspicious communications, hunting shadows within shadows. Within the fractured halls of the Galactic Council, politics spiraled into chaos. Ambassador Shearer pleaded for diplomacy and peace, but warhawks led by General Vorka pushed for annihilation. Humanity must be crushed utterly, Vorka growled, eyes ablaze with fanatic fervor. Behind closed doors, secret plots and betrayals unfolded, tearing the Council's unity asunder and leaving it vulnerable to humanity's relentless advance. The Helios frontier, Commander Elena Miles faced a tidal wave of enemy forces, relentless, desperate, and deadly. Shields failing across multiple sectors, her tactical officer reported. Reinforcements delayed by heavy enemy activity. Elena's voice was steel. Hold the line, fight for Earth, for humanity. The void erupted with blinding flashes of plasma and kinetic fire. Ships twisting in desperate maneuvers, pilots risking everything for survival. In the stillness between battles, commanders gathered to remember their fallen and steel their resolve. Names were whispered, memories honored. Elena stood beneath the endless stars, her voice a quiet vow. For every soul lost, we rise stronger. We carry their legacy forward. The galaxy watched, breath held tight. The war was far from over. But humanity's fire blazed eternal. Humanity's relentless advance fractures the alien coalition's defenses, but the war's brutal toll intensifies. Betrayals and shifting loyalties shake both sides as commanders face devastating losses and impossible choices. The conflict's stakes escalate toward an epic climax that will redefine the galaxy's future. The dark void of space beyond Earth's moon was a theater of devastation and hope, a vast expanse where starships clashed in a furious dance of light and shadow. Captain Lian Zhao's squadron maneuvered with deadly precision through the swirling debris of the Beta expanse, the debris field a haunting reminder of wars past and the cost of those yet to come. Enemy reinforcements detected. Approaching from the Jar system, Zhao's voice crackled over the comms, tight with urgency. Heavy cruisers, missile batteries, and interceptor wings converging. Her squadron tightened formation, every pilot a master of survival and destruction. Plasma bolts tore through the darkness, the hum of engines and electronic warfare filling every cockpit with the sharp edge of tension. Zhao's fighter jolted violently as a missile slammed into her shields, alarms wailing. Hold formation! Focus fire on the flagship's escort vessels. We break their command or we lose everything. Back on Earth, Commander Hannah Yates confronted the insidious threat of espionage with relentless focus. The shadow war within humanity's ranks gnawed at the fragile unity that had held through years of conflict. "We've detained several high-ranking suspects," Hannah briefed the command staff grimly. "Our counterintelligence units are intensifying operations. Our survival depends on rooting out these traitors." Her team pored over encrypted data streams and suspicious communications, hunting shadows within shadows. Within the fractured halls of the Galactic Council, politics spiraled into chaos. Ambassador Shearer pleaded for diplomacy and peace, but warhawks led by General Vorka pushed for annihilation. "Humanity must be crushed utterly," Vorka growled, eyes ablaze with fanatic fervor. Behind closed doors, secret plots and betrayals unfolded, tearing the Council's unity asunder and leaving it vulnerable to humanity's relentless advance. At the Helios frontier, Commander Elena Miles faced a tidal wave of enemy forces, relentless, desperate and deadly, shields failing across multiple sectors, her tactical officer reported. Reinforcements delayed by heavy enemy activity. Elena's voice was steel. "Hold the line. Fight for Earth, for humanity." The void erupted with blinding flashes of plasma and kinetic fire, ships twisting in desperate maneuvers, pilots risking everything for survival. In the stillness between battles, commanders gathered to remember their fallen and steel their resolve. Names were whispered, memories honored. Elena stood beneath the endless stars, her voice a quiet vow. "For every soul lost, we rise stronger. We carry their legacy forward." The galaxy watched, breath held tight. The war was far from over, but humanity's fire blazed eternal. Humanity's relentless campaign fractures the alien coalition's defenses, but staggering losses and internal betrayals threaten both sides. Commanders face impossible decisions amid shifting loyalties. The war surges toward its epic conclusion, where sacrifice, strategy, and unyielding spirit will define the galaxy's fate. The void beyond Earth's moon was a swirling battlefield of fire and shadow, a deadly expanse where starships darted and clashed with merciless fury. Captain Lian Zhao's squadron pressed deeper into the chaos of the Beta expanse, weaving through debris and enemy fire like ghosts. Enemy reinforcements detected converging from the Zha system, Zhao reported. "Urgently, heavy cruisers, missile pods, and fighter wings." Her squadron tightened formation, every pilot a master of deadly grace. Laser bolts seared through space, plasma flares igniting violent bursts of destruction. Zhao's cockpit shook under. "Sustained assault, alarms, screamed, maintain discipline, focus fire on command vessels, break their control or die trying." Back on Earth, Commander Hannah Yates faced the crushing reality of betrayal within. Espionage and sabotage gnawed at humanity's fragile unity. "We've apprehended multiple traitors," Hannah briefed grimly. "Counterintelligence teams redouble efforts. Our survival depends on rooting out shadows." Her team worked tirelessly, analyzing encrypted data, searching for hidden threats. Within the Galactic Council, political chaos spiraled. Ambassador Shearer pleaded for peace. Warhawks like General Vorka demanded total destruction. "Humanity must be eradicated," Vorka growled. Secret plots and assassinations fractured the Council's hold. At the Helios frontier, Commander Elena Miles braced as enemy waves surged. Shields faltered, reinforcements delayed. "Hold the line," Elena commanded. "For Earth!" The void erupted in fury. Ships collided, weapons flared, heroes rose. Between battles, commanders remembered the fallen. Names whispered, memories etched in resolve. Elena stood beneath stars, voice soft. "We carry their fire forward." The galaxy watched, tense and silent. Humanity's war was far from over, but its spirit blazed eternal. The war escalates into a cataclysmic confrontation as humanity unleashes its full might against the alien coalition's fractured forces. Battles, rage with brutal intensity, and sacrifices mount to staggering heights. As commanders make impossible decisions, the fate of entire civilizations hangs in the balance. The final confrontation looms, unresolved, uncertain, and filled with raw electric tension. The void around Earth's moon burned with the fires of relentless battle. The Aegis orbital station stood battered but unbroken, a silent sentinel. Amid the chaos, across the expanse, fleets maneuvered like predators and prey, weaving intricate, deadly dances beneath the distant stars. Commander Sophia Reyes stood resolute on the observation deck, eyes burning with fierce determination. The tactical holomap pulsated with streams of incoming data, enemy movements, damage reports, fleet status, all shifting in a deadly fluid mosaic. Enemy flagship located in the Vega sector, her tactical officer reported, voice steady but charged. Shields destabilized after graviton disruptor hits. Escorts engaged but faltering. Sophia's lips compressed into a hard line. Deploy the stealth strike squads. Their command corps must fall. The warships around her hummed with deadly potential. Engines awakening, weapons primed to unleash. Torrents of destruction. The tide of battle was shifting, but the cost was brutal. Deep within the asteroid belt near the Beta Expanse, Captain Lian Zhao's squadron fought with desperate valor. The swirling fields of cosmic debris were a labyrinth of peril, where the margin between survival and death was razor-thin. Enemy. Reinforcements are converging from the northern vector, Zhao reported. They've brought dreadnought-class vessels and missile pods. Her pilots wove through the maelstrom of plasma fire and kinetic blasts, their maneuvers both desperate and precise. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers, casting eerie light on shattered remnants. Zhao's fighter shuddered under a direct hit. Systems faltered. Maintain formation. Target command vessels. We cannot lose this fight. On Earth, Commander Hannah Yates felt the weight of the war's internal battles. The threat of traitors and saboteurs gnawed at the very foundation of humanity's resistance. Counterintelligence units have apprehended high-value suspects, Hannah briefed. Security protocols are now at maximum. There is no margin for error. Her team worked tirelessly, sifting through encrypted transmissions and encrypted betrayals with grim resolve. Within the fractured Galactic Council, tension exploded into violence. Ambassador Shira's calls for peace were drowned out by General Vorka's war cries. Crush them utterly, Vorka commanded. No mercy. Behind closed doors, assassination plots and betrayals sliced through fragile alliances. The Council's hold crumbled, weakening their ability to resist humanity's relentless advance. At the Helios frontier, Commander Elena Miles faced overwhelming waves of enemy ships. Shields flickered and failed under the crushing assault. Quantum. Disruptors at full capacity, her tactical officer reported. Enemy shields are collapsing. Elena's voice was unwavering. Hold the line, fight for Earth, for our future. The void was torn asunder with explosions, plasma, and the roar of desperate combat. Pilots danced on the edge of oblivion, their courage a beacon in the darkness. In the quiet moments between storms, commanders remembered the fallen, whispering their names with reverence and grief. Sophia looked to the stars, voice barely audible. We carry their fire. We carry their hope. The galaxy watched, breath held tight. The war was at its peak. Victory and ruin loomed close. No final triumph, no last breath, only the relentless pounding march of war. The war reaches its devastating climax as humanity unleashes everything. In a decisive strike, betrayals unravel, sacrifices blaze, and the fate of civilizations is sealed amid cataclysmic battles. Humanity emerges transformed, scarred but triumphant, claiming its place in the stars and forging a new era born of fire and resilience. The void beyond Earth's moon burned with the fury of 1,000 suns. Fleets collided in a cataclysmic storm of light and shadow, plasma fire streaking through the darkness, shattering starships into glowing debris. The silence of space was broken by the roar of engines and the screams of war. Admiral Marcus Kane stood firm on the bridge of the flagship Indomitable, eyes blazing with the weight of destiny. Around him, every officer, every pilot knew the moment had come, the culmination of years of sacrifice and struggle. "Status report," Kane commanded, voice steady as steel. "All fleets in position, Admiral," Commander Hannah Yates replied. "Graviton disruptors and pulse drones have crippled enemy shields. Their fleet cohesion is shattered." Kane nodded grimly. "Then we strike with everything we have. No hesitation, no mercy." In the cockpit of his fighter, Lieutenant Amir Khan felt the electric surge of adrenaline. The alien flagship loomed. Ahead, a towering fortress of metal and energy. Its shields flickered dangerously under the relentless assault. "Khan to fleet," he radioed. "This is the moment we've trained for. Let's show them humanity's fury." The squadron surged forward, weaving between torrents of fire, lasers slicing through the void, missiles streaking like deadly comets. Khan's fighter shuddered violently as enemy fire tore through the hull. Alarms screamed, systems flickering, but his grip never wavered. With precision strikes, they breached the flagship's defenses. Explosions rocked the massive ship. Vital systems failed one after another. Back at the Helios outpost, Commander Elena Miles rallied her forces as enemy warships crashed in waves against human lines. "Hold the line," she shouted. "For Earth, for every life depending on us." Explosions shattered the silence. Alarms blared warnings. Casualties mounted, but so did determination. Within the Galactic Council, chaos reigned as their fractured alliance crumbled. Ambassador Shira confronted General Vorka one last time. "This war is over," she declared, voice heavy with sorrow. "It's time to rebuild." Vorka's eyes burned with defeat. "The galaxy will never forget. The final battle was a symphony of sacrifice and triumph. Ships fell, heroes rose, and the fate of the galaxy was sealed in fire and hope." "Admiral," Kane stood before his weary crew, voice filled with solemn pride. "We fought not just to survive, but to define our destiny. Humanity stands unbroken. Scarred, yes, but triumphant." The stars twinkled silently, witnesses to an epic saga of courage, loss, and unyielding spirit. Humanity had fired first, and now it held the sky. A new era dawned.